Hello, I'm Dr. Maurie Markman from City of Hope, and I would like to briefly talk about the results of a clinical trial. But more important, that broader question, what do we do with this information as relates to the patients we see that we're caring for outside of the research setting? So the study itself, very interesting study, in my opinion, important study, actually extremely well done. And the title of this is actually a follow-up, Improved Survival with Adjuvant Cyclooxygenase 2 Inhibition in PIK3 CA activated stage 3 colon cancer, CALGB SWOG 80702 Alliance trial. A lot of words, complex. This was reported in the Journal of Clinical Oncology. Now, what were the results? My question, interpretation beyond what you write in the conclusion of the paper. This was a phase 3 randomized trial. Extremely well done. National cooperative groups. 1,100, or actually almost 1,200 patients on this trial who had the tumor sequenced, molecularly sequenced. And they found there were a total of 259 patients who had PIK3 CA activated or mutations, functional mutations. And these are very well described, very understood, pathways understood. And it has been hypothesized that aspirin or COX-2 inhibitors, CALGB, which has obviously been available now generically for a long period of time, might favorably impact outcomes in colon cancer, potentially low risk, certainly not expensive. In this particular trial, a large randomized trial, the whole population was treated with standard chemotherapy plus or minus CALGB. And pre-planned analysis, subgroup analysis, this wasn't something they did at the end. They looked at the particular patients with this mutation. Overall, there was no impact of adding the COX-2 inhibitor to adjuvant therapy in terms of improving overall survival in the population. However, in that subgroup that had this function mutation, there was a statistically significant improvement in PFS, hazard ratio of 0.89, and very importantly, an improvement in overall survival with a hazard ratio of 0.44. I repeat, 0.44, almost actually more than a 50% reduction in the risk of death. Again, that's a statistical term, suggesting the potential utility of, number one, knowing if this mutation is present. Again, it's a subset of the whole population, but it's not a small subset. It's a meaningful subset, but suggesting the potential utility of using this relatively well-tolerated, inexpensive medication as an adjuvant in standard practice in patients with colon cancer. So the question to be asked is, when would something like this truly become standard of care? Meaning, not that you have to give it to every patient, not that you have to do this testing every patient, but that you discuss it with the patient, make it available, meaning perhaps would you like to get this test done? And if it's positive, would you be interested in potentially receiving this medication? Because we now have data. This wasn't the only data. So the question is, yeah, nice trial, nice paper. Investigators should be applauded. Put this on their CV, write another trial. All very interesting, but that does not impact the next patient being seen in an oncologist's office with colon cancer. What impacts the patient is discussing the results of this and other well-designed trials and talking about the implications of the testing and the treatment and whether they, after appropriate discussion, review of the research themselves. They want to potentially using that care. Bottom line, not simply leaving this as words on a piece of paper or in an internet publication, social media, but actually applying it to the patient. How do we move that? How do we make the decisions? How do we make it available? How does it potentially become standard of care? These are a lot of questions, and I would suggest we need to come up with answers. And I thank you for your attention.